to increase the turnover of the companies to get out to the European markets and to the world market, supported by the legislative system. The second, we learned that for most successful business models we have to decrease the costs and we have to remove all the potential administrative burdens as much as we can in our next legislative period. Then we of course have to secure markets, and therefore the internal market rules have to be better applied for these companies. And finally, I'd like to get to the point of intellectual property rights, that we have to save the competitive advantage for those companies who have those. So if you ask me now what is my definition of the innovation, which has been asked already today in the press conference, I have here my solution. I believe that innovation is the knowledge of changed way of doing things to use resources, material, financial and human resources, with the aim to generate the competitive advantage. And this is the point I'd like to arrive to the intellectual property rights and to the patent system. Because when we generate this competitive advantage, we wish to keep it quite a long time, and therefore we have the aim to save it. It was probably easier in the old age, Margot described as a stone age, and the time is getting shorter and shorter, the competitive advantage can be kept, and therefore it has better and better saved. So for me, IPR, especially the patent system in Europe, is not a target. This is simply a means to secure the competitive advantage generated at local level, company level, country level, Europe level. This is the stake that we are talking about. Therefore, when we issued in the Parliament, where I have been a rapporteur actually for both in the last 1 year, for the Small Business Act and for the Lisbon Strategy, we laid down that intellectual property rights has to be better saved and has to be far more European than are today, because the result shows, what I have said to you, the 8% of companies, etc., I do not wish to repeat, that something is wrong, doesn't allow to grow those companies we are speaking about. And I think this is the criteria we have to measure our success of legislation, that can we get a better success for the European business model, and can we secure it for a bit longer time than it seems to be. Whatever kind of innovation is that, social, services, science or research, I think this is the stake what we are talking about. Therefore, and I am fan of this for many, many years, in the FP7 legislation we already laid down the paragraph that already in the research phase some better protection of intellectual property has to be managed. So please do not forget, when you are talking about patent, when you are talking about IPR, you do not talk about the ultimate target, you talk only about the mean to support, to generate European success for interest of all European citizens. And final statement, if you ask a European mother, even myself having 3 children, which kind of job I wish to get for my children, I wish to get the one where certainly the competitive advantage is secured, because that will be the basis for their better life. And as a European politician, this is what I am standing for. Better life based on European success for all. Thanks very much to listen to me.
Shall we come back to you, Ms. Fröhlinger, or do we move on to... Do you have something to add after hearing your colleague panelists?
I will be very brief. I will follow up on what Edith Herzog just said, that IPRs, and in particular the creation of a community patent and the European Patent Court, are not an aim in themselves. They are a means. They are a means to help companies to innovate and to protect their investments. They are a means to secure their competitiveness. And therefore, whatever community patent and court system we create, it has to reply to the needs of the users. It has to be built in a way that it is attractive to the users and will be efficiently made use of. And that is something which is sometimes lost out of sight. The Commission is, for a variety of reasons, very grateful to the Swedish presidency, and we are working very closely with the Swedish presidency towards securing a partial agreement in December. It's a pleasure to work with the presidency because of their commitment, their dynamism, their expertise, but in particular because we share the same objective. We have to build a system which is attractive to the users, which is not an aim in itself, but which will make life for business easier, less costly, and more secure. This is sometimes forgotten. Sometimes we speak to some of our colleagues from member states, and they say, no, we don't want this, and we don't want this, and we say, but the users want this. And then we are told, yeah, the users are not going to vote in the council. But we have never to forget that what we are going to create, we are not creating it for politicians. We are creating it for you. Thank you.
It is, I guess, very, very clear that the community patent will be there for creating the right incentives. It is also clear that the right incentives may change over time. And I remind suddenly a piece of research, very recent economic psychology research about bonuses. And there's maybe a parallel between bonuses and patents. And the research says that bonuses, as they were paid in the financial sector, do not prove to be really driving incentives for the people working in the sector. So even against this background of changing orientations over time, of future orientation, which is of course important, I think it's also become very clear that having a community patent is better than not having a community patent. And I guess everybody that we've just heard is convinced of this urgency. And against this background, I would like to open the floor for questions to the speakers. Who wants to start? Yes, please.
Yes, my name is Ramon van der Riet. I'm an inventor. I'm going to moderate the third section later on about intellectual property in the digital world. I have specifically a question to the Swedish presidency and to the Commission in terms of what we can expect from you in the next coming month. I think it's clear from having listened to the online council meeting, I think on October 8th, that the member states in Europe appear at least to be serious about the issue of intellectual property. They want to have, I think, the European patent, and at the same time I get the impression from listening to them that there is also an intention to get the European litigation court. I mean, obviously we need both, because, you know, a European patent system